Here now with more, someone who knows an awful lot about budget deals. Former Speaker of the House and Fox News contributor Newt Gingrich is with us. All right, you're the last person, you along with Bill Clinton, after the shellacking that Democrats got in '94, that brought you to power, that brought Republicans to power for the first time in 40 years. You sat down and you guys put together a balanced budget. You got together. But Clinton, said the era of big government is over, the end of welfare as we know it. Joe Biden has a radical base, new Green Deal base, and they're now demanding no negotiations with Kevin McCarthy. Kevin's done his job. I'm not sure what is left for him to do at this point.
Well, in my new book, March to the Majority, I outline how we did it. And Kevin is basically following the same game plan. Pass a bill, stand firm, be reasonable, but don't back up. And I think if you look at today's meeting, you look at what's been happening, inch by inch, gradually, the Biden team has come to recognize if there's a default, it's going to go down in history as the Biden default. It's going to end his presidential campaign for 2024, and it's unacceptable. So he's going to have to get somewhere. Kevin McCarthy, the Speaker, has done a great job so far of setting a series of goals that the conservatives really want and refusing to back off of the core of those goals. Is it going to be 100% of what they passed out of the House? No, it never was for us either. But is it going to be 80%? Probably. And I believe, first of all, that the June 1 deadline is not anything like a crisis. I've watched Treasury for over 30 years. They can find a way to keep things going for a while. Second, I think that it's very, very important that Speaker McCarthy is such a dramatic contrast with Speaker Pelosi. Remember, she once said you have to vote for it to find out what's in it. He's saying no matter what the pressures are, the House is going to have 72 hours. We're going to have an argument. It's going to work out. And I think that's a huge step in the right direction. I feel reasonably good after today's meeting that they are moving in the right direction, that Speaker McCarthy holding his ground, being reasonable, being pleasant, but being firm is the right direction.
All right, let's look at the AP poll. Only 24% of Americans say the national economic conditions are in good shape. And more importantly, 2/3 of the country, Mr. Speaker, are saying that, and most Democrats and Republicans want Congress and the president to raise the debt limit only if Congress includes terms on reducing the budget deficit. So it's a winning political issue on top of everything. And the question is, do the people at the White House, is there anybody in there that's looking at the poll numbers and what the American people are saying and how they're suffering? I got another poll out here. 90% of the American people, are now financially in dire straits. 90 million Americans, rather, struggling to make ends meet in Biden's America. That's a lot of people.
Yeah, we just had a poll come out of the field this morning from the America's New Majority Project, and it showed that 58% of the country believes that a spending cut is more than reasonable. Only 19% disagree. So by about 3-1, the American people believe that this government's so big, so bloated, so wasteful, that attaching significant spending controls to any kind of debt ceiling is more than reasonable. And I think that's why the underlying pressure on Biden, if he has any hope of running for re-election, he cannot be either for a default or for proposals that by 3-1 the American people oppose. And that's why I think in the end, Speaker McCarthy and the conservatives are going to win an enormous victory in the next few days.
So, as you know, I have a radio show, 725 stations, and if in any way I use my radio audience as a focus group, Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that the overwhelming majority of people calling me, talking to me, speaking out about this issue, all want Kevin McCarthy to hold firm here. They look at the Republican bill. All it does is return spending levels to 2022. They reduce baseline budgeting to 1% moving forward, meaning you can't have massive increases in spending. We can't afford it. We have $31 trillion in debt. And I think Kevin also has a political problem. He's got a 4-seat majority. That is hardly a big majority. So if he were to try to make a deal with Biden, he has to go back to his caucus. And if a significant number of House Republicans reject it, would that not open up a possibility that some Republicans within the caucus would pass a motion to vacate and maybe push him out if he doesn't fight hard enough on this?
Well, look, I think he is fighting hard enough, and I think it was remarkable that he was able to pass the bill when, as you pointed out in your opening monologue, nobody on the left thought he could pull this off. But let me go a step further. I've been working with Jody Arrington, the chairman of the Budget Committee, and I can tell you, think of the debt ceiling as step one. First spending cuts ever. We've never had real spending cuts on a deficit, on a debt ceiling like this. We've had slowing down the rise. We've never had real cuts. They're going to get real cuts. Second, the second step is going to be the Republican Budget Committee, I believe, is going to propose 10-year balanced budget, period. It's going to be bad, and they're going to show you how they're going to get there. It's going to be very real. So when you look at that, and then you're going to get to the appropriations bills, and frankly, things like the Durham report show you so many places to cut spending where institutions have been corrupted, dishonest, and lied to the American people, that I think you're going to see a 1, 2, 3 process in the next 5 or 6 months. They're all going to move America towards a healthier, more honest, and candidly, more conservative future.
All right. Speaker Newt Gingrich, thank you. We appreciate your time as always and your insight and experience.